Hey guys, Andy here. So if you're a subscriber, you've probably seen that I recently picked up the Pixel 5. That, in theory, is going to replace the Pixel 4 that I was using before. And honestly, I wonder about how much of an upgrade is it, because this was kind of a top-end phone, this is more of a mid-range phone. So top-end from last year versus mid-range from this year. If you haven't watched my videos of my head-to-heads before, it's just a bunch of tests really, so ways of measuring different things. And then decide on which one is better. There's about, 7 different tests, and we'll see which side comes up trumps. It's not massively scientific, but at the same time, I do try and measure things. So, I don't know, I kind of give you the information to make the decision yourself, really, I suppose. Let's see how these two get on. So let's take a look at the two devices. On the left is the Pixel 4 from last year with a Snapdragon 855 chipset, which is 7nm, an octa-core processor, an Adreno 640 GPU, 6GB of RAM, and can currently be bought for $439 on the Google Store. On the right is my new Pixel 5 with the Snapdragon 765G, which is also 7nm, an octa-core CPU, the Adreno 620 GPU, and 8GB of RAM. So let's move right on to the first test, which will be the Angry Birds 2 opening test. So I cleared both the previous apps from both devices, and you can see the Pixel 4 coming through first. I do have a bit of a confession to make. I'd run this just slightly earlier, thinking that I need to run them both to check they sort of opened and weren't asking me to sign into the Google Play or anything like that. And the Pixel 5 won. So I did run this 3 times thinking, well, how did the Pixel 5 win the first time I did it? And then the Pixel 4 won each time after it, basically. I mean, not by a huge amount. I mean, we're talking a couple of seconds. And here we go for the third time, you just see in the end of it. And again, the Pixel 4, I mean, literally, what was that? Probably less than a second ahead of the Pixel 5. But either way, the Pixel 4 won the Angry Birds 2 opening test, fair and square. So we're going to move on to benchmarking with Geekbench 5, which takes quite a long time, actually, and it's not particularly interesting to watch, unlike something like Antutu, perhaps, where there's graphics to see. And we can see the Pixel 4 came in, we're looking at the multi-core score really, the Pixel 4 came in 2,305 and the Pixel 5 1,578. So clearly the Pixel 4 winner of the benchmark test as well. I have said, obviously, to an extent, how much do these really matter if the device runs nice and smooth, but still, there we go. The whole reason for me running these tests is to pick a winner. And then we're going to head outside to check the GPS, which actually I had some difficulty with. And we'll see why in a second. So we're going to see eventually the Pixel 5 does get a lock, but it's rather inaccurate. 60 meters accuracy. And in fact, if we skip ahead, so I chop out about 20 seconds, and the Pixel 4 still hasn't actually locked. And then finally the Pixel 4 does, and then the Pixel 4 starts to lock in on the accuracy. And in fact, the Pixel 5 starts going the other way, which is kind of weird. I can promise you then it does start to come back down. And I've used the Pixel 5 already for sat-naving on Google Maps, and definitely I've had no issues. So it might be that, because obviously each time I run this test, I clear the AGPS. And maybe I should have run one of them leaving the AGPS in place. So here's the second time through. Again, the Pixel 5 got the lock quicker, but the Pixel 4, I mean, only by a few meters, comes in with a more accurate lock later on. So kind of weird, but I'm going to give the Pixel 5 the GPS test. Now moving on to the screen brightness test. I've turned off adaptive brightness. I've put them both up to 100%. We see the Pixel 4 in the high 500s. The Pixel 5 breaking into the 700s. And then just to double check, and I go back over Pixel 4 again, mid to high 500s, Pixel 5. So clearly the screen brightness test goes to the Pixel 5. Onto the speaker. Let's move on to a bit of spoken voice with some podcasts.
Essentially gave organizations like GCHQ and the NSA a free rein to go do mass surveillance. HQ and the NSA a free rein to go do mass surveillance. It also overturned a lot of the rules and laws. And
that Google and other social network providers and search engine providers are being overwhelmed, quite frankly, with inquiries about.
So I don't know how that comes across to you, but I can tell you the Pixel 4 sounds a lot better. The Pixel 5 is a little bit echoey and almost a hollow sounding speaker. So the Pixel 4 wins the speaker test. We're moving on to the browser test, which is run in Google Chrome. So I've cleared the cache of both devices, and we will head to androidandy.uk for the first test, which the Pixel 5 comes through quicker. Not a great deal between them, but I would say the Pixel 5 clearly loaded that little bit quicker. We go to BBC website, which the Pixel 4 actually sneaks through. Probably a little bit closer, but the Pixel 4 definitely was first. And then finally we're going to The Verge, and again really not much between them, but the Pixel 5 does squeak through first. So a little bit like the Angry Birds test, there isn't a lot between them, but I will award this one to the Pixel 5. So there we have it, 3-all. So you could argue that I have run the battery test on both devices. The Pixel 4 had 92% left after my hour-long test, and the Pixel 5 had 95% left on the hour-long test. The Pixel 5 clearly, easily having the better battery, so you could use that as a tiebreaker. In some ways, I don't think you need to. I'm giving you the evidence. Really, you can do with that as you wish. You could argue the Pixel 4 is a cheaper device. Pixel 5 has got 5G, obviously, so connectivity is going to be quicker as well. I give you the information, you do with it as you wish. I would be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments down below though, so please do comment, I will read them all. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon.